Hello and welcome to John Young Photography. This is my review of the Nikon D750. Now, before this camera I had the Nikon D600 and D610, which I did a review for the Nikon D610, and I'll put a link in the description for that. But the main reason I upgraded from the Nikon D610 to the Nikon D750 was I found the D610 had a few problems with focusing in low light. Now, for example, if I was doing a photograph of the couple dancing in the first dance, I found sometimes it would just hesitate, just a little bit of hesitation as I was trying to get the photograph. It would usually still take the photograph, but it could be a couple of seconds later on the D610, which is not good. It's not good when you're just getting a lovely shot, you're getting the bride and groom coming together for a lovely kiss, and you miss it, or you're a second late. It's just not very good. So for that reason I decided to upgrade to the D750. On top of that, we did actually need as well an additional camera as well. So I thought it was a good opportunity to upgrade at the same time and have an additional camera for an additional backup. So I'd have like 3 backup cameras then. The D750 is quite a big improvement over the D610, to be honest. I mean, this review is basically my experience with the camera, if you like. It's not a technical review or anything like that. There's plenty of other reviews online if you look. There's loads of reviews on the D750. This is just my experience. But I've found it a huge advantage using this camera over the D610. See, the D610, really good camera, full frame sensor, 23 megapixels, but I found 24 megapixels, just checking there, because this is the same as the D610, so 24 megapixels, that's what this is. But for me, it was the focusing in low light. That's where I found the big difference. And this does actually have a better focusing system. This has more autofocus points. This has 51 autofocus points, and the D610 had 39. So obviously straight away that's making a big difference. And also this has more cross-point focus points. And the cross-point focus points are more sensitive, they're more accurate, and this has more of them. This has, let me check here on here, this has 15 cross-focus points, whereas the D610 had 9. So that does make a big difference. This focus system is also better, not just in the first dance, but any low light situation. For example, on this photograph, was taken outdoors in low light. It looks very well lit here because we used off camera flash. But to focus for the camera, to actually focus on the bride and groom at the time, on the faces, I focused on the faces. It did need a good focusing system, which is what the D750 has. The D610 would have probably struggled to get the focus on the couple here. You would have struggled, and then obviously the bride and groom stood outside, potentially a coldish day. I don't think it was this day actually. It was quite a mild day, autumn night. This photograph was taken, but it could have been a cold night, and the last thing you want is the bride and groom stood there in the cold, waiting for you to get the shot because your camera isn't focusing. It's got some other features on here as well, and one of them is a tiltable screen on the back. You can see here, it just tilts out, which can be quite handy as well. You can only use it in live view mode, so that does limit the focusing a bit. The live view mode is not as fast focusing as the normal mode, but it's quite handy. For example, I've used it if I'm doing a shot of the wedding, after the wedding dance, and everybody else gets on the dance floor and everybody's up dancing. I want to get a bit of a high shot. I can basically shoot like that, so I can see the screen on the back, get a nice shot into the crowd. But as I say, it can be a little bit slower because you have to put on live view mode to do that, so the focusing can be a little bit slower than it would be on normal, which is a bit of a shame, but it does work well. I've took quite a few nice photographs like that, so it can work well like that. Another addition this has got over the D610 is this is got Wi-Fi as well, built-in Wi-Fi, so you could transfer your photographs using Wi-Fi. I've never used the feature, to be honest. I just tend to come back home, take my memory card out, put it in my laptop, transfer my photographs that way. I just find that works easier and quicker for me, but it's the option there. It's got Wi-Fi if you want it, so you could do that. Also, this has better battery life. I mean, to be honest with you, I tend to use a grip on here anyway, so I have the battery in the camera, and then I've got the Meek grip on the bottom here, which I'll do a review on that as well. Brilliant grip, absolutely brilliant. Very reasonable price, and I have a battery in there as well. The D750 also has a different image processor in comparison to the D610. This comes with the X-Speed 4 image processor instead of X-Speed 3 in the D610, so you're going to find it's going to process quicker. I would recommend with these cameras as well, I think I said the same with the D610, is get a fast memory card. It's got 2 memory slots, so you can have, like I did on the D610, I can have, I mean what I do is I tend to have a backup of each, you know, so I'll take raw photographs on card A and I'll back up the raw photographs on the card B, but you could have raw on card A and JPEGs on card B. So I just find it's better that way, and it gives us a bit of security. If something goes wrong, I've got that other card. If one card fails, I've got the other card to fall back on. This also does continuous shooting speed of 6.5 frames per second instead of 6, so it's that a little bit faster. Yeah, and it's the same sensor size as the D610, which I said before is 24.3 million, which is excellent. Full frame sensor. Again, huge amount of information there, so you can crop right into your photographs if you want to. Sometimes you can get one photograph and you can get 2 or 3 shots from one photograph I've found. You can just frame it differently, crop in differently, and it's excellent like that. Excellent. At the moment I've got my Tamron lens on here, which is my go-to lens. It's the 28-75 f2.8. Brilliant lens, brilliant. This is my all-round lens. I use this for probably 85% on the wedding day. Excellent lens. I'll do a review on that as well at a later date, and I'll do reviews on basically all my camera gear at some point. But that is an absolutely fantastic lens. It's certainly worth getting. But yes, on the whole, it's an excellent camera. I cannot fault it. It's got a deeper grip, if I remember rightly, compared to the D610 as well. It's a really nice camera to hold. And see, I've got my grip on, so I can have it like that. Maybe show the button here. One of the downsides, which I think I mentioned on the D610 in comparison to this, is this screen, the information screen here. That's a lot smaller than the D610. The D610 is about so big, so I don't know why they made it so small, but they did. So you know, it doesn't obviously affect too much using it. You know, you still get information on there, you can still see, but I don't know why they made that screen that little bit smaller, but they did. I won't go into all the different specifications on the camera, because if you look online, if you search Nikon D750 specifications, you can find loads and loads of information on the camera and all the specifications on it. But from my point of view, as a wedding photographer, professional wedding photographer, it's excellent. It produces the goods, gives us excellent photographs, it's reliable, it's never faulted us. The D610 was a very good camera, produced lovely photographs, it was good in low light. This is even better in low light. The quality of the photographs in this in low light is amazing. Thank you for watching. This is Johnny Photography. Goodbye.